Right, welcome back. And today on the Power Breakfast show, we are discussing a very pertinent topic that was brought to the fore yesterday after herdsmen stumbled upon a mass grave, and it brought back to the fore the issues of extrajudicial killings over there in Mandera. Now, of course, the Kenya security agencies, especially the National Police Service, have vehemently denied these allegations. According to the police, a majority of people who are missing were either joining the Al-Shabaab militia, and many of those who have been found dead were killed by the militia's cell members who suspect them of snitching on the terror group. But we want to find out more about, have this conversation and what's happening over in Mandera. And you're joined by Patricia Nyaondi. She is the CEO of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, and she'll be talking to us. And we welcome your views as well. The SMS number is 22422. That is 22422. Send in your questions, your views, your comments, and even your suggestions of what you think should be done moving forward. And on Twitter, as always, our hashtag remains Power Breakfast. We'll take it.
Good morning, Patricia.
Morning.
Welcome back. This, I think, many times have been here.
Yes.
Now, before we go to these extrajudicial killings, there was a meeting yesterday where the Attorney General expressed his disgust at the way national commissions are attacking the government. What was he complaining about?
I'm not sure what he was complaining about, and I do not think we attack the government. What we have consistently done is offer constructive criticism when we feel that the government has stepped outside of the limitations that are provided by the Constitution, especially with regard to respect for human rights.
What actually is your mandate? Because you were saying you shouldn't criticize the government, you should be a liaison agent between you, the government, because you are a government institution. You shouldn't liaise between the government and the NGOs.
Yes, we are a state institution, and I agree with him that the National Commission would provide a very useful bridge between civil society and the national government. Our mandate requires us, in addition to that, to monitor state compliance with its obligations under the law. And therefore, we are required every time that the government steps out, or there is a real risk that it will step out, to be the people that, bring this to the attention of the government, because we all know that a country that throws the law out of the window really is risking everything that it claims to be working towards.
Our Constitution, in 2010, is very clear about human rights. It's unlike before.
Yes, yeah.
There is a whole chapter about that, and it's very much praised all over the world for that chapter. Yet what we are seeing is completely out of that. Why is that so?
I think that the challenge we are facing right now is that, interestingly, even almost 5 years, going to 6, after the promulgation of the Constitution, a number of us have not woken up to the new reality of the current Constitution. And therefore we continue, living as though we were under the old dispensation. And therefore that category of persons will always experience a great discomfort when they are reminded that under the Constitution, this is not just a document in black and white. It is a living document, and you are required to live by these rules. The truth of the matter, Mutegi, is that the more we live according to those rules, the greater the benefit. So it's unfortunate when many people look at the Constitution as a restrainer, whereas the reality is that when you live in accordance with those principles, there is greater liberty, there are greater freedoms, and each of us is better able to enjoy the full benefit of living in an independent and democratic country.
But it looks like people are not punished if they go against the Constitution. And I'll give you an example. The other day, one Boniface Mwangi wanted to demonstrate. He wanted to go to support the president over his fight, the government's fight against corruption. He was not allowed by the police to do it, and he had given a notice. The law says go and give a notice to the police that we're going to have a demonstration and give you security. Instead, it was stopped.
Yes, so that the tragedy is that we are overworking the courts, and now Boniface has had to go to court to get an interpretation on what is rather a straightforward issue. So that really is the unfortunate thing, that there's a sense in which we are misapplying our energies, misapplying our resources, where something is in black and white. You know, the Constitution is very clear that we all have a right to express our opinions. We have a right to picket when we feel that we are aggrieved, and within certain confines within the law. So once you satisfy the confines of the law, really, there is no value apart from nuisance value in stopping you. So I agree with you that there is a sense in which some people are using their energies in the wrong manner.
You had a report about extrajudicial killings.
Yes.
You did a report about that. Can you give us the highlight of that?
Yes, this was a preliminary report, and we continue to finalize it. The issue is that even as we think we are concluding it, more issues emerge. But really what we found in the northeastern part of the country, primarily in Wajir and parts of Mandera and Garissa, there were reports of up to 120 people for whom there was no account as to where these people were. Then we had found reports of 25 people who had been tortured, and confirmed deaths of 10. So what concerned us is that in a number of those cases there was very strong indications of a security agency involvement. That for us was a matter of great concern, and we then forwarded our preliminary report both to the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Interior, the respective parliamentary committees for security, and also the National Police Service. And we brought this matter to their attention and said...
When was this?
This was, because the report was in July, so soon after.
Yes.
The report, they have been with the report all this time, and we said, we are bringing this matter to your attention, and we hope that you can progress the matter, given that it is those agencies that have the machinery to investigate up to, beyond a certain level. We have certain limitations as the Commission. To their credit, we think that the National Police Service took the report seriously. We have not received official communication from them on the action that they have taken. We have made two unsuccessful attempts to meet with the Cabinet Secretary and discuss the report with him.
General
Kayseri, yes. Yeah, it has not been possible to discuss the report with him, but we know that he seized of the report, and I think the happenings in Mandera might be the clearest indication that some of the issues that we had raised there are yet to be fully addressed. Some of the issues that we had raised in our preliminary report.
I don't know, if I work for the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, I'll be a very frustrating person. Because you're very passionate when you do these things. There are terrible things that are happening to Kenyans. And you write a report. That was in June, July, August. Now it's December.
Yes.
And nothing seems to have happened. If anything, the situation has become worse.
Muchegi, I do not think I would describe myself as frustrated. I am rather optimistic, because what I have seen is increasingly the public coming up themselves and saying this is wrong, and sometimes that is the only voice that the government listens to. Sometimes the only voice it listens to is a public who tells its leaders that we do not agree with your position. So I am encouraged that as we continue to do our job, there is a public out there that is also conscious, that is also aware of what the limitations of the government are, and it is that public then Because ultimately the government is accountable to the public, and for as long as it does not feel, you know, that the public demands this of it, then the government is comfortable to ignore institutions, oversight institutions such as ours.
If you have a personality of high esteem like Attorney General, speaking the way he's speaking, well, why would we expect the government to do anything?
Well, Mutegi, I would I understand the Attorney General's position. He is the legal advisor to the government, and in previous conversations with him, we have said that there are certain situations that we will respectfully disagree with him. I am not in a position to really offer an opinion on, you know, why he makes certain statements.
The police and the military have denied any involvement in any extrajudicial killings. And they are asking, do you have any evidence, any concrete evidence that the police or the military or the security agencies were involved?
I would like to say that we have strong evidence. We have not gotten their hand in the cookie jar, but we have fingerprints. So what we are really saying is that let us not apply measures that in themselves are counterproductive. The likely consequence of some of the measures that we are applying is that they either will break that necessary link between the police and the community with regards to effective policing, so that we find that whereas information could be availed to the police that would help, when the community feels that it is being randomly targeted, then everyone feels that they are a likely target, and therefore everyone shies away from engaging, even when, and the truth is that they are the most likely source of useful information. The other unlikely consequence of this is that you know, there will be an increased use of force. We destroy evidence, because once you kill somebody, they are not available to give you information. I think it is also well established that information you get through interrogation, you should not fully rely on it, because one of the things that the person is trying to do is to seize the pain, to seize the punishment. So they will tell you what you want to hear, and then you will stop torturing them. So what our own strong position has been is that these measures may themselves be counterproductive, and so we want to temper them and apply more resources towards acquiring solid intelligence. I think other jurisdictions have demonstrated to us that it is possible to invest and get quality intelligence that you can then act on. But relying on forcefully extricating this information from suspects whom you have profiled. In our case, that is what we have done. We have profiled that likely terrorist suspects will be people belonging to certain communities.
In the case of police, if the police were found to be perpetrators of any extrajudicial killings, probably even the IPOA can take action against them.
Yes, precisely, because the Constitution is very clear that one of the principles that the National Police Service is expected to abide to, Article 244, is really respect for human rights and professionalism. So I think that is there in plain English, and it is clear to all. IPOA is mandated to have oversight over police mismanagement, misconduct, and so this would really be on their desk. Why we are engaged with it as a commission is that when it goes beyond misconduct, and really amounts to a violation of human rights. So what we have here is arbitrary deprival of lives of people. We have subjection to cruel, inhuman and degrading treatment. Then it becomes the business of the National Commission on Human Rights.
Military operations, you saw what happened in Mount Elgon. There were complaints there also. I think you made some report about it.
Yes.
Now we have Mandera and we have Wajir and Garissa. Who is supposed to oversee the military operations?
The military are directly under the executive, and all of us really are subject to the National Assembly. The current constitution actually provides that prior to deployment within our boundaries, the president will seek the approval of the National Assembly, and that the National Assembly will generally review that operation to ensure that there was no trespass in terms of adherence to the principles of the law. And therefore parliamentary oversight is really important in some of these issues that we are discussing.
So when your report which you wrote in July, you gave it to a parliamentary committee.
Yes.
Do you know whether they have done anything about it? Have they asked any question to anybody?
We, to my knowledge, not in our presence. Not in our presence. So unless this has been done with other agencies, it has not been brought to our attention. I am aware that the Parliamentary Caucus on Human Rights and the members of parliament from that region have really taken on this matter, and they have sought to bring it to the floor of the House. The assumption I can make is that this is still a work in progress. But I am aware even this morning that members of parliament from that region are on a flight, and they are headed to see for themselves what has happened in Mandera. It is my expectation that when they get back, they will mobilize, the rest of the House, and that this matter now will be discussed by them with a view of ensuring that there is not, if not cessation, that at least those who have been identified, action will be taken against them. In our report, we actually named not less than 5 police officers that had been positively identified. So we think if there is an intention to take action, there are names there, and it is possible to see that if the National Police Service wants to make a statement that this is not the way we do our business, it is possible to make an example of the officers who have been identified.
Those are policemen?
Those are police officers from various services, the ATPU, the Border Patrol, the National Police Service. I think we mentioned certain OCSs that we felt should have been more careful in the manner that they handled. When an OCS says, yes, I received these people, but I cannot account for what happened after they were received by the police station. So I think those were clear issues that action can be taken.
Normally, I remember even during my time, when those kind of things happen, when the special branch, that time they were called the special branch, when they used to arrest people like Farah or whatever, like one Baraka Karanja or the other Karanja who was arrested from Nakuru. Normally, what would happen is that there would be a police inquest. If somebody disappeared or application for habeas corpus, we are talking about 120 people disappearing and 25 tortures and the number of deaths. No habeas corpus have not have any habeas corpus application have not have under any inquest ordered by the police, because that's what the law says. There shouldn't be an inquest. If somebody was arrested by police, went missing, or tortured, or died, an inquest is supposed to be set up.
I'm
why,
glad.
why is it silent?
I'm glad, Mutegi, that you know this is part of the concern that we have raised, and I am aware that Gitobu Mandera, for instance, has been approached by a number of families, and he has some pending habeas corpus cases before the court. So those are awaiting determination. I think his frustration and the frustration of the families is that these matters have taken close to a month before court. So this really is the challenge, that so the families have gone to court seeking habeas corpus, but if it is taking a month to resolve the issue, then there is a problem there.
So why should we believe the court system, the who?
I think
I thought we have cleaned up our court. We have a new Chief Justice. We have the Supreme Court. What is the matter? Because even during my time, when it was horrible, these things I remember very well. I wrote about that Karaja from Nakuru, who was arrested by the special branch, and he died at Kenyatta Hospital. And there's a big inquest, to the extent even a judge resigned. The judge who was dealing with that matter did resign because of the way it was mishandled. That time those things happened. Now there's complete death.
You know, what I appreciate about the conversation we're having this morning is you're now making reference to history. And the moment we look in our past and are able to really connect the dots as you are now, and saying we cannot ignore this, action must be taken, then we can hope for progress. I think part of the challenge that we have had in the country in recent times is this reluctance to look behind us and say, why did we have the kind of constitution that we have now? Why do we have the kind of constitution?
Because even the old constitution,
yes.
That other Karanja who was arrested at Kenyatta Hospital,
yes.
Then they said he has disappeared. They went and killed him. We went to Eldoret to dig graves looking for him.
Yes.
It spent 2 days digging graves in Eldoret, and he had been killed in Karura first, and he disappeared. And we had an inquest with the police.
No,
why?
No, I really, and I hope that you will continue to remind us that we should not just be waking up on the 8th of December 2015 and thinking that we are dealing with this issue, that it only happened on the 8th of December, but we are required to really reflect and say, what is happening in Mandera? Did this thing happen ever in this country? And under what conditions? I think the moment that we stop dealing with our crises as though they are isolated issues, the moment we make a deliberate effort to make the necessary connections, then we will be working towards solutions. I get very disheartened, Mutegi, when increasingly as Kenyans we are challenging this constitution and its usefulness, because all we are doing is saying this is just a collection of papers stapled together. We are failing to appreciate that the constitution as it exists in its current form is our statement as Kenyans saying that we had very difficult days in our past and we do not want to go back there. So I think that as we really should as Kenyans begin saying this is about not going back to those.
When you wrote this report those few months ago, I can see the reaction of northeastern MPs now because of that those graves they found there yesterday.
Yeah.
What is it they did about that report? It looks like they were also silent. Nothing happened. And we're talking about 220 people disappearing, 25 people tortured, a number of others killed. How come they because there are no grave found?
What I have come to learn now working where I work, that a lot of work happens behind the scene, and therefore my sense is that if the National Police Service took this report seriously and had a meeting with us and made certain commitments, my sense is that certain critical voices were speaking to them. I want to think that among those voices were the MPs from that area, some of our representatives. Some of those voices must have been our international partners that provide support to our security agencies. So I can tell you that the initial response to our report was one of seriousness. We were called and we had a dialogue. We left the National Police Service feeling that they had taken us seriously and that they would act on the report. So my sense is that not everything that changes happens in the public arena. So that is why I am not discouraged at all. In fact, I feel motivated to dig in my heels and go back to the National Police Service and say, you had given us an assurance that you had your hand on this thing, that there was not going to be a recurrence. We want an assurance. I have heard the National Police Service speaking very strongly, and security agencies saying, no, it is not them, it is actually the militia who are killing their own. And what we are saying in response is that if their own are being identified by members of the public as innocent members of the family, then it should concern us as a country that there is someone out there who feels that they are able to kill Kenyans, that they are able to come to our houses, pull us out and kill us. That should concern our security agencies. I think that is even worse than security agencies killing us. I would rather know that it is the National Police Service coming for me than fear that it could be anyone that I am meeting who can actually cause me to disappear and there is no relief for my family. That really is a bigger issue. And I think we should not there should not be a conversation that is telling us that it is not, because it is not the security agencies, it is likely to continue and there is nothing that we can do about it. I think the conversation, if we are saying it is not the security agencies, should be that we now can confirm that this is Al-Shabaab, and what we are saying is that as the security agencies, we will ensure that Kenyans within our boundaries are safe even from Al-Shabaab.
Logically, would Al-Shabaab, if they killed a Kenyan who is spying on them, would they go to the extent of trying to hide that they killed that person by burying that person?
I want to think that's a rhetorical question. That must be a rhetorical question.
You know, when the police spokesman said these people disappear, they are killed by Al-Shabaab because they are suspected, do they expect us to believe that that is the case, if they are burying?
Do you believe it?
Of course not.
Okay. Then you are one voice. We'll wait to hear what the other
we would have wanted to have the policemen here, but they couldn't come. We also had invited the member for Wajir West, Abdul Kadir Ore, who did not show up.
I suspect that because quite a contingent of MPs have gone to Mandera this morning,
probably
it is likely that he is on that flight.
So what next?
What next is...
I said I can be very frustrated and you say you are hopeful. I don't know why your hope is based on, because if 6 months ago they have taken seriously your report, what happened last week or last Friday about this because they're very fresh killings, fresh, when you see the soil is fresh.
What I can say, Mutegi, is that as a commission, as a measure of last recourse, we do also go to court to seek action by the judiciary. I think you saw this when there was the attempt to have the security laws amended in a way that was really outrageous with regards to the impact on fundamental freedoms. And we, you know, as a first avenue, we sought meetings, we sought to appear before the parliamentary committees and impress upon them what we thought, you know, about those laws. When that failed, as a commission, we moved to court, and the court confirmed what our position had been, that you cannot legislate contrary to the Bill of Rights. What we are saying as the National Commission on Human Rights, if these avenues that we have applied, you know, issue a report, have meetings, engage, discuss these issues, fails, then within the exercise of our mandate, you know, we are at liberty to again move to court and have the court then pronounce itself on some of these issues.
A lot of Kenyans think that you are just making noisemakers, that you only complain when people are killed, but when police, the army is called, an army person is killed or a policeman is killed by terrorists, what do you expect? Kenyans have no sympathy for you. They don't support you that way. Terrorists are killing our policemen, they are killing our army, they should be killed.
Nothing could be further from the truth. Whenever that challenge is raised at me, I remind people that KNCHR was at the forefront with regards to police reforms and looking at the welfare of the police. And we are the commission that sat in the Ransley Commission. We are the commission that said, unless we look at the welfare of the police, unless we properly equip the police, unless we properly train them, it is unlikely that they will be able to face the risks that in their day-to-day work. Part of our frustration is that there has been very slow movement towards implementing the Ransley report. But any police officer that we have worked with directly will really appreciate that no one champions the rights of police officers to be properly equipped for the work that they do, like the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights.
Thank you very much, Patricia. Kenyans must know that they say if you don't care when they go to that place because those are Muslims or they are Somalis, it does not concern you. Next time it will be, remember that those times of dark days, they will come to you. People used to disappear. Somebody was arrested because they wrote something in their notebook. We don't know about that time in 2015. We don't know back to those dark days.